Good morning to you all. So this is Mr. Rao. As a part of the continuation of the human digestive system, in today's session, I would like to explain large intestine in a detailed way. So it has got even the three different regions within that. It's a large intestine. The first region of this colon or the large intestine is known as cecum. Right? If you see its structure clearly, then you can understand this part. Then what this cecum is, right? The cecum actually here a blind sac. If you see this one as your large intestine, there at this end a blind sac is present, right? There you can see here the small intestine is present. There you can see. The small intestine actually opens into this large intestine at a blind sac-like structure. This particular part is known as the cecum. Right? Whereas the second one is known as the colon. There you can see the rest of the part. See this one. This total part of your large intestine is known as the colon. Whereas the third part, it includes the rectum. This is nothing but rectum. Whereas this complete portion is known as colon. Whereas this particular part is known as here cecum. Right? Let us see about each part in detail and characteristic features of each one. And when you see here the cecum, it is a small blind sac like structure. The very important characteristic feature of the cecum it consists of here certain kind of microorganisms which are symbiotic in their nature. It's a very important point. A symbiotic microorganisms are present in the cecum of your large intestine. Here you may have the bit doubt regarding the symbiotic or symbiosis. Might be studied in your previous classes, biological science particularly, a symbiotic association. Then the symbiotic relation. The symbiotic relation, it means here the two different organisms are associated with one another and here they are all mutually get benefited. Right? Because of this bacteria, here you do get certain kind of benefit. So the bacteria will be get benefited here because of the human beings, and meanwhile the human beings also get benefited because of the presence of this bacteria. So such a kind of symbiotic association is present in the human digestive system with the microorganisms. So a symbiotic microorganisms are present in the cecum of the human digestive system. One important thing. Thereafter here at this area, it is another important point. A finger tube like structure is present here. A finger tube like here projection or the structure is present. It opens and this part is actually known as here vermiform appendix. It's a very important point. And this particular form is known as appendix, or simply we call it as here vermiform. It looks like a worm, so that we call it as here the vermiform appendix. The very important point related to this again, this is actually the vestigial organ in the human digestive system. Here the vestigial organ means, and there is an organ present in the animal body which has no particular function within the body, right? So such a kind of parts present in the organism body are altogether known as the vestigial organs. Coming to the human beings are nothing but the museum of the vestigial organs, because in our body we had many here vestigial organs, almost all here 100 number of vestigial organs are present in our body. There are certain kind of organs which doesn't have any functions within our body. In some cases, as I said, here this may be undergone to a infections, so that you do get here a health issue known as appendicitis. Appendicitis here may occurs when it is get infected. That is what about the cecum, right? Later on, coming to the second important part, that is the colon. I said this entire area is called the colon. When you see this colon, the colon is redivided again into the three important portions. You can say that there is a here colon is here moving towards the upward direction. Hence this colon part is known as ascending colon. There you can see here the colon is present horizontally, horizontal part. So this is what we call is transverse colon, since it is present horizontal. Whereas the next portion of this colon is here moving towards downward direction. Hence it is known as the descending colon. When you see here, all these are present in the front portion of your abdominal cavity. Whereas hereafter, if you see the colon, actually the anus is not present in our front, it is present in our back. So the colon actually it moves backward and here opens, it moves backward. And the portion of the colon which is here moving towards the backward direction and enter into the rectum, thereafter anal canal, and comes out or opens out with an anus. So that portion of the colon is known as sigmoid colon. It is an important point. Sigmoid colon. Right, what it is, the descending colon here start moving backward direction, and that part is known as the sigmoid colon. Later on, that sigmoid colon is get open into this rectum. Rectum later on get opens into this anal canal. Anal canal. Anal canal finally opens out through the anus. Right, anus. And very interesting point related to this, if you take this anus, the anus is get guarded by two important sphincters. There you can see the one sphincter, there here externally you can see the another sphincter also. The sphincter that is present internally, see this one, it is known as internal anal sphincter. This part is known as internal anal sphincter. The very interesting point related to this one is, this is actually here involuntary in its function. So the closing and relaxing of this sphincter is not under our control, because it is actually made up of smooth muscles. Smooth muscles actually here are present in the interanal sphincter or internal anal sphincter. So this internal anal sphincter is involuntary in its function. That means closing and relaxing of this sphincter is not under our conscious mind. And whereas coming to the here, the another sphincter is also present, and this sphincter is actually known as here external anal sphincter. External anal sphincter. External anal sphincter. The most important point related to this, shall I rough this part? I am roughing in order to here give more clarity regarding this internal anal sphincter. And coming to this internal anal sphincter is made up of a specialized muscles again, which are here voluntary as well as stripped muscles. These are here voluntary and stripped muscles. Here M it stands for the muscle. Stripped or otherwise known as a striated muscles, or we can call them as the skeletal muscles also, right? You will study about that one also detailedly in structural organization of animals. But now here I am telling a point that these are stripped muscles or the voluntary muscles, because the closing and here relaxing of this muscle is completely under our control. Hence we call it as here voluntary muscle. But here the interesting point related to this is it is involuntary. Smooth muscle is always involuntary, whereas it is a voluntary. Stripped muscles, these are all otherwise known as striated muscles, and they have got even another name also, the skeletal muscles. So if you want to here release the fecal matter, it is completely under our control. Though the internal sphincter muscle is not under our control, but external anal sphincter is actually under our control. So that here going for a defecation is under our control only. So this is what about the large intestine. I do here tell all the points again one by one in a detailed way. Now you see these points. Now I do go with this colon. The colon here is divided into three important parts, and the three important parts of the colon, it includes here the ascending colon, second one is the descending colon, and the third one is transfer colon. So the three types of colons that you can see here within the large intestine. See, as I said, the three parts are present within the colon. The three parts it includes, one is the ascending colon, whereas the second one is the transfer colon. Transfer colon is the second one, whereas the third one is the descending colon. Clear? Right. And another important part, actually the descending part of the colon, it opens into the rectum. That's what I said just now, right? And this rectum actually opens out through the anus, right? This rectum opens out through the anus. This is the thing. Whereas coming to the last one is the rectum. When you see, the rectum is here a small sac-like structure. It is a sac-like structure. Rectum is a place where the undigested fecal matter is stored for a little bit time before the defecation it takes place. The fecal matter is generally temporarily stored within the rectum. Clear? Then the rectum at its anterior side opens into the sigmoid colon, whereas the rectum at its posterior end, it opens into the anal canal. The anal canal finally opens out through the anus, right? So this is all about your large intestine, right? We will see some other information regarding this one, right? Coming to here, the sigmoid colon is present, that I just now here said. The sigmoid colon continues behind and opens into the rectum, because sigmoid colon is the continuation part of the descending colon, right? The sigmoid colon is actually the continuous part of the descending colon, and it continues behind, right, into the rectum is one important point, right? Then here this colon, when you happen to see on its surface, you can see the external bulged portions or the pouch-like structures are present. So that you can see here. Whenever I draw the picture of the colon, I used to here draw like this, right? This is the thing I said. And there you can see in the colon some external bulged pouches-like structures are present. There you can see this is an elevation, whereas this part is the depression. This part is the depression, whereas this is a outer bulged pouch-like structure. These are actually known as haustra. It's another important part. This part is known as haustra. Clear? Right. And next to this, the rectum, whatever is present, it opens out through this anus, right? And coming to here, this anus has got two sphincters. I said one sphincter is internal sphincter, and that we call it as internal anal sphincter. And this sphincter is actually made up of the smooth muscles. Smooth muscles are involuntary in their function. That means their contraction and relaxation is not under our control. Whereas the second one is known as external anal sphincter. And this external anal sphincter is voluntary in its function. They are stripped in their nature, such a kind of muscles there are. And thereafter you can see the functions of this large intestine. What are the functions of this large intestine? We will see now here. Important thing is no digestion takes place within your large intestine. So it has no role in the mechanism of the digestion. So one important thing. This large intestine, it has no involvement or no significant role in the digestion process, right? There is no digestion process takes place within that. But so it involves in absorption of certain kind of materials like water. Excess amount of water present in your actually the food is absorbed by this colon, and even the minerals that present in your food or the diet is also get absorbed by this colon itself. During the sick conditions, generally we do consume the drugs, different kind of medicines. Even the medicines also get absorbed in the colon itself, right? That is an important function of this one. It absorbs the water, the minerals, as well as the drugs present in your diet or get absorbed by this colon itself. Clear? And apart from that, the colon, it produces the mucus. And this mucus actually helps for binding the food material and making it a soil. And meanwhile, the mucus actually is here applied in the anal canal and even the colon part also, so that it facilitates the movement of the food smoothly, right? That is one thing. So it secretes, see this point, it secretes the mucus. This mucus helps for binding actually undigested here food particles. Undigested food particle whatever are present, they're all here put together. Because of that, later on it helps for lubricating the entire passage so that the bowel movement will be free, so you can go for the defecation comfortably without any obstacle. So these are all actually the functions of your colon. So important thing is, as I said, the digestion processes get complete by the end of the small intestine itself. I said actually, right? That is nothing but the ileum. So no digestion takes place in your large intestine itself. So only in the large intestine, absorption of water, minerals and drugs, and it produces the mucus, helps for binding the undigested food particle and lubricate the canal, right? This is all about your large intestine. So with this, we do study more detailedly the entire anatomy of your digestive